sooner to star wipe than to fade away.
I actually am really pleased that was the very first thing that today's episode is all about. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, everybody. I don't know what this button does something. Hey, my name is Todd. We're gonna be playing some Dungeons and Dragons here on SideQuest Live. Thanks for joining us. If you're live, you can catch it on Twitch, you can catch it on YouTube, you can even catch it on Instagram if you feel so inclined. So I think, oh, that might have died. Technology, whatever. I got a room full of people over here. Let's go meet them. Hey, room full of people.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh,
Welcome to level 10.
Yeah, you're all level 10 now. That is exciting. I'm excited on your behalf. So I don't know what choices people made. Hopefully they're game breaking. I don't really care. I'm here to tell a fun story with some people here. Mine's
literally game breaking in that I cheated. Rules is written. I'm not allowed to take the choice I did. And I was like, well, I asked Todd, and he didn't get back to me, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, do it. Do it anyway. We'll figure it out. Anyway,
I'm very excited about it, actually.
If you want, during your intros, you can mention what you changed. It is Strange Acquaintances, and we're in the middle of a quest to try to get through to Tazvrel, and we keep getting sidetracked, and we've been stuck on this damn island. And now you just finished a major throwdown with the big bad, showing themselves a little bit early. A beholder who everyone else seems to call boss. It's basically a throwdown. Instagram died. Whatever. Screw you, Instagram. We didn't need you anyway. Sure. Before I forget, Internet, you're welcome to join us. The way you can do that is, if you're joining us live, you can use what are called plot points. And if you get an idea for a sideline, maybe an NPC or a monster to suddenly make their lives more complicated, no instant deaths, and actually I think last game we figured out no instant revivals either. So, we'll see how it goes. But if you get ideas, please feel free to share with us in chat. Also, in our last Shadowrun game run by Steve over there, we had a call out to the audience to share your favorite character demises. And so that will still be going on. You can do that live or after the fact in the comments. And if this is your first time here, please don't be shy. Please click the subscribe or the follow or the whatever the button is down there. Just press it, and see our creations for you and for each other. Really, I'm just in this for the math rocks. Let's not be coy. It's about the math rocks. All right, let's go around the table, meet everybody real quick, and then we'll dive in. Let's start over here with Gordon.
Nope.
Gordon.
Yes. Mute button.
Now, due to technical difficulties, Gordon's lovely face is going to be severely pixelated in picture format, but that's okay. We welcome all people, creeds, and pixelations.
Even the pixelated.
I am currently internet disabled at home. On my phone.
Oh, that hits right in the field. Now, I believe you're playing two characters today, if I don't miss my guess.
Yeah, I am playing Talithar, who helped come in and kind of throw down with the big bad. And then I'm also playing Rook, who has escaped yet again.
He's that slippery little one, isn't he? So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And you've just picked up your old pal Torig, the dwarf, formerly played by wonderful Carl, who unfortunately couldn't join us, but that's okay. We'll kill his character anyway. Let's keep going around the horn. Steve, what are you doing? That's not Steve. There's
no.
Steve. Okay.
Hi. Still here, still alive, still playing Gex Techford. You know him. That's it.
That's all you get.
Wow.
That's all you get from me.
Yeah. And let's keep going around the horn. Darcy.
Hey everyone, I'm Darcy. You can find me at DarcyBits wherever, except for Twitter. I'm bad. It's also not at Instagram. Since we're talking about Instagram now, apparently, I just finished a month-long series of drawing a fantasy fighter character every day for, I guess, 28 days because it was February. But I did
you chose the short month. You shortchanged us a couple of character monsters. What that is.
That's true. Well, it's interesting because I was doing like cycling between 6 species, and there's 2 that got 1 less drawing than everyone else because of 28 days. If it was 30, it would have been perfect.
Well,
anyway, that's not
there was
important
no way
right
to
now.
predict.
I'm playing Empty Wisdom. Yeah, I could possibly have planned ahead. That would have been... No, I don't do that. But I'm playing Empty Wisdom. Empty Wisdom is a monk who is seeing the world for kind of the first time, even though she hasn't got off the island she started on. She's still sort of like bright-eyed and learning about the world and people killing each other. That's a thing, apparently. And also beholders and nightmare things. Naga. But
yeah,
in the wake
you
of
faced
our
death.
I did face death, sort of. So Empty Wisdom, or otherwise known as Empty, is a monk who was trained to sort of strengthen the spirit, and that spirit can basically possess her and make her do things, and she doesn't really remember it when it happens. So that spirit, also known as Wisdom, faced death, and she kind of didn't in a weird way. She did as well because she got like kind of knocked out and then like had a weird internal monologue. It was a fun time. Anyway, I'm belaboring the point. The point is, think of the fight. Our fallen comrade Ashina, like basically just met, but still, she's a druid. She maybe died, maybe didn't. She disappeared, and her staff of the woodlands was left behind. And we're going to get to see Empty sort of discover something outside of the monastery for the first time. And as we just saw sort of flashed up on screen there, it's going to multi-class into Druid, which I'm really excited to sort of see this character, even though it's going to be a level 1 Druid, despite the fact that we're at level 10 right now, really get to put her, dip her toes into a different thing than she's been raised with her entire life.
Right, she's never left the monastery, so it's like, wait a minute, there's other classes.
Exactly. I mean, you know, not in such like meta ways, but yes, right. That's actually what it is. And of course, the Staff of the Woodland is a very powerful item that will allow her to kind of feel like a higher level druid than she is, which is gonna. I'm excited to explore it, but let's not belabor the point. Sorry, I kind of went on.
No, that's cool. All right, let's keep
honestly,
going around.
I almost was like, do I just retire Empty after that fight? And then the idea of the druid was like, ooh, that's actually a really cool
Wait
angle,
a minute.
So
I would like to mark this moment. Darcy is sticking with and modifying a character instead of getting a new one. I think this
considered it. I was like,
this is
like
growth.
Confused, lost, and isn't like doing anything, and isn't like attached to anybody, and it's like, this might be it. This might be the thing. Anyway.
Nice. All right, let's keep going around
Sorry.
the horn. That's all good. Brandon.
Hola. My name's Brandon. I'm playing a half-elf divination wizard named Eli who just watched his grandma die and is currently holding her lifeless body in his arms.
Dude.
When I put it, the haircut's justified at that point. No longer just a phase.
I should put a content warning on this. Warning. Dead grandmas.
Warning, dead grandmas.
Yep. So that'll be fun. And that's where he's at.
Yeah, that's a pretty intense place to come in. All right, let's go around a little bit more and see Matt.
So I'm Matt. I'm playing Balin of the Clan Iron Eater. He's a dwarven wizard, but not your traditional wizard. He focuses on crafting and making things for the most part. Sort of comes from the restored, or the attempt to restore, some of the halls of Illifarn, the old dwarven nation. And he's sort of the first generation of dwarves that was born there, and is, going back out into the world looking for lost lore, secrets, and treasures to bring him back to his people in their homeland.
Awesome. And along the way, you've run into, you've heard of the Mage faction, the Mage Tower factions. You even had a cousin who went off and joined them. Sure enough, because around these parts we slay that dragon. Your cousin is none other than Torig, the dwarf wizard who'd been gone missing for a really long time, and then partner in crime, or in Mage Tower. Okay, it's crime. If a mage told you to do it, it's still illegal. So he ends up going missing for a while, and now he's shown up with a big red jagged crystal embedded in his forehead. By the way, Empty, you have one of those, or sorry, Wisdom / Empty, you have a jagged red crystal in your hand, having pulled it from the literal forehead of a Grim Reaper.
I believe, if I recall correctly, yes, Eli is in possession of it currently.
Right.
I extracted it, and again, did not really remember this because that was something that Wisdom did. And I ended up giving it to Eli.
That's right.
And I think we also saw a similar crystal in the head of that worm that you guys got to spit me up as well, right?
That is true.
I don't remember it being a crystal, but it was like some kind of like root like appendage or something.
Yeah, that one was...
Maybe I'm misremembering.
That's all good. Various control mechanisms. Let's say it's a root eye stalk, but wrapped around a core of a crystal. There's going to be some retconning.
That's fine. Yeah.
I mean,
or it might have been there the whole time and I
plan.
forgot. I don't know.
It's all good. All right, and that brings us round to, I believe, Timely, and then we'll end off with Bella. All right, Timely, who are you?
I am the disappointment of the Bone Braid family. As we know, drop out from med school, but so far still sticking it with the adventuring crew. So let's see how this new career move shifts out. Who
now
knows?
you mentioned
maybe one day.
You mentioned, sorry to interrupt. You've mentioned before sending letters to your family. Now, do you actually mail those, or do you just hold on to them in hopes that they'll agree with you after the fact? I'm just curious.
I believe, before we started this latest season, that I did mail it out, but I wasn't sure if there was anything, if it actually successfully made it. I think it did, because my father read it. You playing the role of my father read it and was like, god dang it, gang.
God damn it.
So,
now she's... No, well, we'll see. I mean, the latest package of letters and journals is ready to go. Just ready to make mom and dad shed some fresh tears.
Not of pride. Not of pride.
Hey, maybe someday. That's hope springs eternal. All right, let's bring it back around to Bella.
Hey everybody, I am playing Isolde. What is there really about her? She's just trying to discover herself. She is on a journey.
Nice. And
that is what's most important.
Absolutely. All right, love it. Classic hero's journey going on, which is why we stopped. And next up, we'll get started after these credits. Here we go. That was Darcy. Sorry, wrong button. The night sky is filled with stars, a moon shining down, illuminating the mountain pass in which you find yourselves. The ground in between this mountain pass is littered with many bodies. Many bodies. Several of them human or humanoid, fallen half-elves, even a couple
Side
dwarves.
quests live is now live.
Some of them your
Screaming
companions.
Dungeons and Dragons. D&D,
Some of them your
episode
one-time
28,
enemies turned
Run It Down,
last-second
Strange
allies
Acquaintances,
as
homebrew
a
D&D game.
horde of a variety of monsters that have no right working together suddenly appeared, teleported into this space by none other than Torig, the dwarven wizard, the reddish spike of crystal glowing on his forehead. He crumples to his knees and battle ensued. There were several creatures. An Oni, which only just recently fell, having faced down with Balin and others. Actually, it, I believe, arrogantly tried to lift off into the air and immediately got hacked to death by a vengeful paladin and rogue combo. You had a Naga, a snake-like creature of intense magic, ending up being dispatched. You have several of the Mage Tower guards who were facing off against you, turning at the persuasive words of Talithar to fight alongside you against these terrifying beasts. Several, but not all, joining your side. Then, of course, the most terrifying creature of all. An 8-foot diameter, massive, eye-stalked, floating eyeball nightmare fuel beholder. Bedecked, almost bedazzled, in various dangling necklace-style loops, jangling with a kind of pale quartz crystal. And I'm going to retcon something because it showed up better in the art. Bluish crystal is going to be the control crystals. So the reddish crystals, which are... let me just show you on Roll20. Actually, no, we'll let that come out as it comes out. But anyway, bluish crystals is what it was bedazzled with, and the Oni also had several of them. You have since dispatched all of them except the beholder that quickly compelled Torig to open the teleportation circle, and it fled through just in time for your one-time ally, long missing rogue, to carefully and sneakily come back through the other way. And I don't care what you say, Dungeons and Dragons, rule of cool, we wanted to reunite the party. Rules, it was fun. So here we are in the night. The two elementals, flame elementals, now uncontrolled, spinning and turning, just smashing a few more of the corpses and skeletons that seems to be dotting the area that also appeared amongst these ragtag monsters. After their fury is spent, the flames flickering off into the night. So, Strange Acquaintances, what do you want to do?
Empty is just, I guess if we're picking up right where we left off, she is sitting in, I guess, like a fairy ring, right? Like this ring of mushrooms where Ashina's body disappeared into, and just kind of like holding the staff of the woodlands in her hands, but then like her knees up onto her chest, so she's like around. Does that make sense? Like hugging her knees, but it's with the staff. It makes sense in my head. And she's just kind of like there and kind of rocking and not really sure what's happening and kind of waiting for someone else to take charge, I guess.
The rest of you have been looting and finding things. That all happened.
Talithar is going to heal himself and turn to the remaining companions, and also Torg. He's basically going to try to make sure that Torg is not able to hurt anyone anymore, and he's going to call out, if anyone is able to help dispel the control gem in his forehead.
Yeah, I would also be looking out for Torg as a fellow clansman. I'd be looking to subdue him so he can't do any more damage, and help it with the dispelling of the crystal.
I forgot to mention, but you have bound his hands, and I believe gagged him.
Yeah, I think I said that last session.
That makes sense.
I think Isolde would be coming down. Oh, is this working?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can.
Sorry.
It's okay.
For a minute, I thought I saw somebody talking, and I'm like, I don't hear them. Sorry about that. Isolde would probably kind of come down, meet everybody, and just... I think where I ended last time is I was with Elias, and sitting, comforting him while he holds his grandmother.
And Eli's just weeping over the body right now. And does Talthar speak out about the Torg gem? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just calling out to everyone else.
Okay, so Eli finally wipes the tears from his eyes and kind of looks up and is just like, if we get a rest, I can help out. I'm kind of tapped out right now, but is it urgent, or can this wait till tomorrow morning?
It could wait. We just need to secure Torg. Does anyone? And I'm kind of looking around and surveying everything, and I notice Eli's fallen grandmother. And I kind of stare at her a moment. I'm also tapped out, or perhaps I could assist, unless someone is able to stabilize that state, and I kind of point to her. I won't be able to help in time.
I have a potion of healing. I don't know if that would be useful.
Gex, I'm going to get you to do a medicine check as you look at the fallen grandmother.
I think we just hear Empty muttering like, "She's dead. Death took her. She's dead. She's dead."
Gex with a 5. I don't know that, you've seen people suffer worse. There's no visible wounds. She looks like you could probably do something.
So I'll try giving her the potion.
You pour the kind of slightly viscous pink liquid from the vial, pouring some on her lips, putting a little bit around her, anywhere where you think there might be a wound, a little bit on her forehead, kind of holding her hands a little bit, trying to just bring her back. Her hands are cooling quickly, but the warmth is still there, and yet the healing potion doesn't seem to have any effect.
I'm going to call out to Timely. I don't know how much you've spent in your divine power. Do you have knowledge of Revivify? Do you have that knowledge, and are you able to cast it?
I think you might be muted there, Timely.
Can't hear you. Do you have individual control on your headset, or actually I'm not sure what type of mic you have now that I think about it.
Timely looks a little tapped out. Sorry, not Timely. Hilda.
Cool.
It's all good.
Oh, she's
Try-
just.
Have you tried
reconnecting
turning
in
it
case
off and turning it on again? Love that
I
joke.
mean, it often works.
It really,
no,
really
sorry.
does. I don't think
I don't know
muted
what that
him.
is.
Yeah.
Try resetting voice
Well-
settings in Discord.
Yeah, check if it like swapped your mic or something. It's weird. Like we could hear you before the show started. I don't know what changed. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
Ah,
we
there
got
you are.
There you
There
go.
we go. Woo!
Get her back.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
Emily, do you have level 3 spell Revivify?
I do not. All I can do right now is hopefully lay my hands upon her, do some chest compressions.
Okay. I mean,
Go ahead and
Okay.
do a medicine check, Hilda. It's bringing back bad memories.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna say with
19?
advantage because you actually had that. Oh, didn't need it. 19. There's no visible wounds, other than a little bit of roughing up, but that was hours old. She doesn't look like she should be dead, but there is no pulse. There is no movement. The grandmother has passed. And shy of resurrection magics or revivify or any of those things, it doesn't look like she's going to be coming back.
Eli's gonna stand up with his grandma in his arms and kind of look at everyone. One more wipe, and I appreciate the effort, but she knew what was gonna happen, and I don't think she'd be very happy if we revived her. Anyways, we should probably just head back once we have Torek secure.
Do you have
As Torg is trying to speak through his gag.
Hilda?
Mhm.
Do you at least have an ability to just kind of stop the decomposition process
Oh, let me see here.
until we can, carry her
As a
like
player, you probably don't.
Well, it's spare the
spell for
dying.
that
It's a
is spare
cantrip.
the dying. Right.
Spare the
and
dying or
paladins don't
gentle
get
repose.
cantrips.
Or gentle repose, yeah.
Yeah, it could be repose, but yeah, paladins don't get cantrips is the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The best I think I could do, but it probably doesn't work in this aspect based on what the spell covers. But in my head, I was like, sanctuary. Maybe I can freeze time in this bubble, keep her from decomposing. But it wouldn't be able to move with us. It just
Oh yeah,
And I-
Eli's
Yeah.
just gonna start walking at this point.
Yeah. Isolde's gonna
Should
walk
we-
up to kind of Gex and just sort of pull him to her, quietly, and be like, are we going back to town now? Is it safe, or should we, maybe find a safe place out here to rest and then go to the ship?
That is a good question. I think maybe we all better gather round for a minute and talk it through.
Well,
I'll just kind of say that a little bit louder, actually. Let's all gather around and decide what to do next.
with Toreg secure, Balin would want to go talk to Elias, and he'd just say I'm really sorry about your grandmother. I feel almost a little somewhat responsible because I had the ability to counterspell that, and just in the midst of combat I didn't realize what was going on, and I'm just sorry I wasn't paying more attention. I hate to see this happen, and if you'd like, I can create
It's okay.
a
It's
casket or
fine.
something for her if that's something you'd like.
Let's figure out what we're doing first.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you need anything, just let me know.
Rook is just kind of continuing to scavenge some of the bodies, just armor and whatnot, and then regroup with the others. He's quiet. He's not saying anything.
I think now that it's calm, Gex will come over and talk to him. I've missed you.
I'm glad you guys are alive.
Same. Glad you're alive.
Went to the one that replaced me.
Cut him in half. Yeah. Took a little bit longer than I had hoped. It was kind of annoying having him around. He looked like you, sounded like you,
Gex,
didn't talk like you, didn't act like you.
Gex,
but-
can I get you to do an insight check, please?
You can't help but wonder.
Oh, that's a nat 20.
You're looking at your friend's face. You've known Gex a long time. Way back, even back to the old guild days. The tiny little scar on his cheek. Just that strange haunted look in his eye. Every once in a while, his eyes would kind of flick past you as though hearing or looking somewhere else. That's something that Vostlo didn't tend to do. He looked distracted in other ways. But that, amongst all the things, is probably the most convincing. That this is your friend Rook.
The brothers are also dead. They're taken care of.
Well, that's good. I'm sort of half disappointed. I was looking forward to robbing them, but I suppose them being dead will have to do.
Perhaps fortunate for you, because that's when we ran into, and I just point to the dead monsters and their master.
So that's interesting. That's how you got here.
Yes,
Sort of
they took it.
Sorry, go ahead.
They we ended up encountering it in its lair, and it's much more powerful there. And after the fight with the brothers, we had lost.
Well, it sounds like we've both been through a lot. I have half a mind to just pick a direction and start walking, and the other half is, we came to do something. Let's do it. Don't know how you feel.
I feel like I want to go back and finish that thing and get some revenge.
Well, sometimes one finds one's purpose in someone else's purpose. I'm with you.
Okay. All right, that's fine. We can talk more later. Let's regroup with the others. And Rook is a bit uncomfortable to talk more in the open, beyond what you just said. So he's just shrugging and nodding. He signs to Gex like, we'll talk more later, but not now.
During that conversation, I'm not sure if Empty would approach Hilda or Isolde, probably whoever's closer. In this case, Hilda. Maybe Isolde. Okay. But I think she just kind of like sidles over as this conversation's going on and leans in to, again, whoever is closest. And is like, who's that Gex is talking to? They weren't here before, right? So that's either Hilda or... go ahead.
That is an old friend of ours that we thought we wouldn't see for a while now. There was a whole doppelganger situation, but we killed the doppelganger, and now, there's a portal, and we got him back.
Oh.
You might need some time to digest it. We can go over the longer details on our walk back to village.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Talthar is going to kind of help corral everyone, but, on the next choice. But he says, before we leave, we need to do funeral rites. And he kind of gives a look to Hilda. Though they may have been at odds at us at the end, they fought beside us, and they kind of point to members of the Mage Tower who fell and fought alongside us. We perform funeral rites before we go.
Ashina's gone too. I don't see a body, but she's gone. And I'm holding the staff and looking down at it. I didn't know her very well.
Did anyone see where she went?
I missed all the fighting and Beholder showing up. No, I haven't noticed quite where she went, and neither her little dragon hatchling is gone too.
I believe I caught a bit of that out of the corner of my eye. I believe the little dragon pet, I forget what she named it, but seemed to wrap her in vines and leaves, and the body disappeared.
I'm going to ask Balin and Elias, and anyone trained in Arcana. You have to be trained, though. Go ahead and roll. Or I guess Rook. I think Rook's trained in Arcana sometimes.
He is trained, but he didn't arrive there until after she fell.
No, this is... I'm going to say you still get a roll because you're looking at this particular ring of stones.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, was it a ring of stones? I thought it was a ring of mushrooms.
A little ring of stones. But there's mushrooms popping up as well at this point. I like it.
Okay, yeah, because I had noticed that as empty, and I mean, I don't directly know, like, she died here, disappeared, but, like, there's, like, a connection there. And I think we do actually see Empty, like, sort of bend down and, like, find the largest of the mushrooms and just sort of, like, pick it up and just kind of, like, take it with her.
Absolutely.
What'd you guys roll?
I got a 1.
18.
23. Not 18.
So, over anything over 17, the arrangement of this circle, Balin's description of the vines, the Fey dragon, and there's a residual energy just quietly radiating from this spot that those who are attuned to the arcane arts, you can sense that a powerful magic has happened here, and it is for anyone over, definitely Elias gets this, and Rook, you can tell there was a plane shift spell cast in this spot. There's the veil between the planes has been punctured in this spot. And it's not the same as the teleportation in and out. Those use scrolls or a teleportation circle. Scroll to get here, teleportation circle to leave. But this is a different and more powerful magic.
I think off the back of that, I like the idea of seeing these, like, you know, wizardly folk and Rook, no offense, looking at this circle and sort of, you know, just like looking at it with interest, right? I don't know how much else I'd pick up on it. So then, because of that, we see Empty sort of walk back to it, remembering that that's where she found the staff, and like put a hand down in the middle of it and grip the staff. And I want to like cast Detect Magic as like the first druid spell she's casting, sort of just like feeling that magic there innately, almost like not something she's like, it's not trained, right? She's not a trained druid, right? She is learning it in the moment, right here, right now, right?
It comes to you swiftly, almost eagerly. I don't know if Empty's had this experience, but it's like standing on a snow-covered pond.
Okay.
But in this one spot, as you reach down towards this circle, it's as though the ice had been recently broken and pressed through, and the surface is only just refrozen. And you put your hand there, and you can feel it just a little bit underneath your fingertips, as though it wouldn't take much for the ice to punch through to wherever it is beyond.
We see Empty sort of like gasp and her eyes go wide, but like that's like all we're seeing from that. Like, just I just want a moment of her like doing druid stuff. And I think we do see her scoop up one of these mushrooms, like oh, this is inherently connected to Ashina. Like, she barely ever talked to Ashina, doesn't know her. She was healed by her a few times, but I think she is like having this weird like, I am now in strict you know what I mean, like bonded to her in like a weird like mentor way, even though it's a completely non-verbal mentorship. And she scoops up one of these mushrooms to like remember her.
Go ahead and do an Arcana check. I know you're not trained.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. It's a flat roll. It's nothing too terrible, nothing too good. 8 total. Yeah, so that's pretty bad actually. But the roll itself wasn't bad.
Yeah, you know that Ashina is gone from this place, and that's about all you can tell.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take one of those mushrooms. A big plump one. If they're,
I think that's
maybe they're all very tiny little like shrivelies. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
I think that's a good time for. I don't know. There's something about seeing somebody bending down, scooping a mushroom, that reminds me of someone, and so this is as good a time as any. Gex. As everyone else is talking, it's like somebody just turns the volume down on them. And you in your mind hear a voice you haven't heard in a while. You can hear the lapping of waves and a large cavernous breathing inhale for 1 second, and then a rather clipped voice, very familiar, comes through. Is this Gex? Is that you, man?
Dave. I missed you.
Gex.
Where'd you go?
If you can hear this, I went after the bullship. They were leaving.
Right.
We found. It's worse than we thought. It's like real bad. A massive... And then the voice cuts out. I'm going to assume that's 25 words, and I'm also going to assume that Dave Tillman is not terrifically familiar with the casting of sending. You can reply, though, if you want.
Where are you?
There's a long pause. And then his voice comes back. We're about 4 days out to sea, man. There's something out here. We thought we were hunting it, but it's hunting us. Massive. Huge creature. Lots. Something woke up. I don't think it's safe to travel by...
Are you being attacked by a beholder?
There's no response.
I'll try to ask him, which direction did you sail when you left port?
No response. You've trained in Arcana, or not Arcana, but you've picked up some spells along the way as a arcane trickster. You can tell that the connection that was there being sustained magically has now disconnected.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, go back to the group and actually back to Rook. I just said I was going to follow him, so...
You guys are burying bodies, all that stuff. You're still working and talking. Yeah.
Yeah, like Gex, I was going to say Gex will collect some wood and he can just light it with a cantrip when needed, but he'll just go to Rook. Tillman just connected, sent me a message with a spell. Saying it's dangerous to travel by sea. He was out at sea following the bullship, whose captain betrayed us, by the way. And he said it's too dangerous. There's monsters of some kind out there. It was not very clear. Typical Roman speech, I suppose, but...
Maybe there's another way. So I was wondering where he was, because I didn't see him with you. So Rook is just going to take a look around, and he's actually going to look at Torek. And he's going to walk up, and he can tell that Talithar is friends with Torek. And he'll walk up to both of them, and he'll kind of motion to Talithar and say, Your friend, he was a captive like me. He teleported the beholder here, and I think with his magic teleported the beholder back. And through that means I arrived here. He may have a scroll, or he may have the capability to teleport us home if we can free him. And then Talithar will kind of like look at him and nod and just say, do what you need to do. Like his eyes will kind of quirk up if there's that ability to do that to get everyone home. So Rook is going to check if there's a scroll. Yeah, he's not going to even talk. He's not even going to talk to Torek. He's just going to check to see if Torek has a scroll. Because yeah? He's going to search for a scroll.
Go ahead and do an investigation check. And Torek is not resisting. If anything, he's kind of motioning towards a side pack that he had.
Yeah, so he's gonna carefully take a look at the documents and rolled an 18.
Nice. So you definitely find his spell book, first of all. And it's elaborate. It's got lots of spells in it. He finds several other things on him. Obviously, components pouch, several different potions on his belt. You do find a scroll case, but the scroll case is now empty. It appears that whatever scroll he used to get here, using a teleport scroll, he doesn't have that with him anymore, and that scroll burned up. So for those who know about mages, you use scrolls if you need to, but usually you transcribe them, like Balin is busy doing, writing down the fireball while everyone else buries bodies. I imagine.
I'd want to help bury the bodies. I'm kind of really good at digging holes, so...
Oh, yeah, you're going to be their best friend. Moldarth.
Yeah.
Moldarth. It actually goes surprisingly quickly with Balin's help.
Yeah. Does the book have the teleportation circle? Would Rook be able to sit?
I'm going to say roll an Arcana check, and in your head, Rook, you hear your friend Kat be like, "Careful, buddy. If you read the wrong part of a mage's scroll or spellbook, it can drive you mad." 17. All right. You are careful not to get lost in the runic nature, and it's dwarven runes for the most part. Slightly different than what you're used to, but still, you can decipher it. But you stick to the headings only and basically get, which spells are in there, which I do have a list if you want. He does not. You get to the end, because it would be pretty far in the book. It's pretty high level magics as far as you understand. While there does appear to be a spell involving teleportation, you can see that there's several. This one is teleportation circle, not teleport. Teleport itself would actually be too high, too powerful a spell for this dwarven wizard to know.
Okay, but teleportation circle will do.
It is in there.
Okay, Rook will relay that to the others.
You also find tucked in at the back several kind of loose pages, almost like they were tucked into really well tucked into the spell book, so that they would almost blend with the pages. But they are loose leaf, and you kind of catch a glimpse of one of them, and it says on one side, "Torig, for my old friend," and it's a folded piece of paper like that. It kind of falls out of the spell book as you're rifling through it, and you notice it and pick it up.
I'll hand it to Talithar.
All right, Talithar, and anybody else noticing that? You see this. It's on Roll20. Go ahead and take a look.
Okay. I can't see it, but you can just...
Oh, right. It seems to be etchings from study of the top title says Ruin Stone. Oh yeah, this is also good. I have to describe it because it's on, podcast. So the title of it seems to be the Dwarven Rune of Studies, but then beneath that is the title Ruin Stone. Variations. Corruption Shard. Red. And there's this drawing of a red shard that is very familiar to all of you now. When embedded into the forehead of a willing or incapacitated spellcaster, they can be controlled by a creature attuned to the control crystal to which the shard is ritualistically bound. See Control Crystal. Beneath that is a drawing of a clear, and on this it's I showed it as red streaks, but it's actually blue, my bad. So blue veined control crystal. Control crystal. When a creature is attuned to a control crystal, they control the corruption shards and the creatures in which the corruption shards are embedded. that are bound to this crystal. Then beneath that is, and looking over the shoulder, anybody you share this with? Do you or do you just want to kind of keep it to yourself for now?
I think Talithar would probably share it, like, with the others, considering what they all went through. That, like, when it comes to the knowledge of the control crystal and the controller, like, these are notes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's not going to pass it around, but he's going to say what it's about.
Right.
Like, Torg has been studying these control crystals and the controller crystals as well.
So you see the last one, and anyone who is the original group immediately recognize the drawing of a golden-colored crystal. The Golden Star. Ancient mages sealed the runestone away, contained by this crystal. Might be able to dull the effects of the corruption shards. And the notes look unfinished. They do look like they were interrupted.
Brooke will point like, doesn't that look familiar?
On the back of this page is a rough sketch. As you begin to show it to everybody else, the picture is Torg's hands. You can tell that he's drawn this, but they're shaky. This is actually drawn by someone who's in much worse shape. It's a picture that kind of shows a hallway leading into a larger chamber. Within that, there are mounds of, some of it worked stone and block, and even a fairly ornate archway that doesn't seem to belong in a collapsed ruin like this. Not quite. There's also rough stone and earth fallen in as though been there for a long time. Within that, exposed, bared, is a section of where the hill has fallen away or been dug away. And as you see this sketch, Rook, you recognize this immediately. Rook, remind me of one thing before I accidentally have to retcon something. When you were delving, was it your friends that pulled out something that destroyed the undertow, or was it you?
It was actually me who pulled it out and brought it up, and
so
then
this is very familiar.
Okay.
It's like a massive gold-colored egg, half buried in a hill or in the stonework, part of it exposed and chipped away. Shards of various color crystal broken off. Some of them multicolored, some of them single-colored, gold, red, streaked blue. Within that, of course, the gold was very interesting. Some of the people you delved with, that's kind of what they were after. It was a main prize for many in the undertow. You happened to grab a piece of crystal that was streaked blue, but it was also attached to another color, a deep midnight gray, almost fading into darker and darker blacks with streaks of black veins heading further in, but broken off so it didn't get very far. So it's mostly that midnight gray. And it appears that Torg has stood in that spot where you had that unfortunate encounter so long ago.
I'll just actually, Rook will actually hand sign to Gex a bit, just to say, that spot, that's where I found the artifact. That artifact that was taken and destroyed the Undertow.
I'll sign back. I thought it looked familiar, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I guess that's because you described it to me before, but...
The other star, I wondered if it looked like the prize from the gauntlet, that's all.
It did. Looked exactly like that.
Right.
But this, like, you would know that, but you wouldn't know about this. This is the artifact.
So the artifact that you found is the one that could undo this, potentially set people free? Is that what we're thinking? That means?
I don't know, maybe. So when I look at Torik's notes, that's what it's saying, like that can undo all the control.
The golden star, the gold colored crystal, the outer layer, seems to have a muting effect on some of the rest of the deeper layers within. It's all part of one massive crystal, and these are pieces and layers that are chiseled off.
We're gonna need to help the wizard, and then can learn more. That's what Rook will sign.
Yeah, I agree.
Talthar about now will be like, all right, we need to make a choice where we're going to rest up for the night, guys, because we're done burying.
You're probably about 40 minutes to an hour away from the Smuggler's Cove. You're probably maybe a day across to the island where you back towards Bernard, the town on the other side.
Or there's the dock with Lesrin in them.
Yeah, that's part of the Smuggler's Cove.
Mhm.
Maybe about
Okay.
5 minutes further up.
At this point, I'll kind of look at Gex and be like, when they say that, I'll be like, I can certainly try to find a suitable spot that's safe and good for us to take a rest for the evening, if you feel that's better than going back to the Smuggler's Cove.
I think that's probably right. I think we should rest, and we should do so as well hidden as possible. I can definitely summon a companion and have it stay on watch.
Okay. And at that, I will start kind of scoping out a good area for us to take a rest. Something
Sure thing.
that's got decent cover.
Go ahead and roll
know.
a survival check for me.
I will do that. At least I think I will. Come on, D&D Beyond. Don't fail me now.
Oh, don't say that.
It's been failing me all week, so did it work?
It did. Got an 18.
It did. 18.
18. All right, so there's a couple of options. Definitely in the next valley over, there's kind of there's a small creek going through. You can find a little bit off the main path. You can actually find this little flat area that kind of juts out into the river, so you can kind of see it's not surrounded by all the trees. So there's a bit of clearing around it, allowing you to see a distance. You would be able to be seen, but you'd be able to see anything approaching. You could also choose to kind of tuck in next to one of there's like a ridge that runs across. So you could also tuck in next to that. And when you're checking that out, kind of stepping away, as you do notice there is a small cave there that if you wanted to, you could try to duck inside that.
All right. I will give all of those options kind of to Gex, and I'll sort of be looking at Rook as well, cautiously, because, he looks like this dude that I used to travel with. I've heard a lot about him, but then I was told
right, you've
he
never
wasn't
met the
Rook,
real Rook.
and
That's
I'm
messed
kind
up.
of sensing this weirdness between him and Gex right now, so I'm not too sure about this dude. So there's a little hesitation there.
Yeah. Do I
That's
notice
good.
her being weird, feeling weird?
Let's maybe do an insight check. We'll see how tuned in you are right now.
Do
Yeah.
I get to oppose it?
Sure. Yeah.
Deception?
Sure. Do it.
No.
I'm as cool as a cucumber, baby.
Yeah. 12 for me.
15 for me. I
Roll
am
for awkward
chill.
jealousy check. That's what that is. It's like, why are they so damn close? But you keep it together. You keep it cool. This is good. This is what they talked to me
He's still
about.
your grandpa.
It was more like, does Gex remember? Oh yeah, by the way, this is the real Rook, and introduce him around.
You don't remember.
Right now.
I mean, you have introduced him around, but you don't specifically single him out to Isolde. And I'm sorry, but she keeps it together. You have no idea. She's just cool as a cucumber. All right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Congratulations,
It's fine.
Isolde. You just passed high school.
She's very sad right now.
Don't let it show.
Don't let it show. Does anybody have really high passive insight? I'm just curious.
My passive insight's 19. I really think I do pick up on that.
Yes, you absolutely
Hell
do.
yeah.
Brooks
Like, as
passive
soon as
insight
you
is
started
21.
saying it, like Bella, I was just like, oh, I wonder.
Rook,
MT's
you're
gonna,
looking at all
like,
these people and
Suddenly be concerned for no good reason. She's like, I don't know what's happening, but she's sad. Like,
Yeah, Rook has 21 passive insight.
yeah,
Oh,
Rook
nice.
picks up on that 100%. And very quickly, like, empties, ready to kind of give Isolde a little extra support there. Something's bugging her, but she's keeping it together with when Gex is around. Rook, as soon as Gex introduces you, you just see, and over Isolde's shoulder, you see Angel, the bard, just leaning on her, being like, freshman, man. Freshman. Easy does it. I'll let you interpret that however you want, Angel, to do. So, there's one other thing that I want. What's your passive perception? Isolde. Just Isolde, unless someone else went with you.
what do you mean by went?
To go scout out for
Oh, I see. Like, this
Games
whole
and
thing
stuff.
happened before you went to scout. That makes sense.
No,
Yeah,
this is
that
kind of
intro.
happening after,
No, after.
as she came back.
Ah.
But as she
Oh, okay.
comes back, I'm
After-
wondering if she's picked anything up. So, what's your passive perception,
That makes sense.
Isolde?
15.
15. Okay. I just
Yep,
need
yep,
no.
yep, yep.
It's upstairs. I'll have to check it on break. I'll just roll again. Let's see. All right. You come back. People have been busy. Balin's been making graves. People have been filling them with all kind. You've been moving all the humanoids, the people who fought with you. Out of curiosity, what are the rest of you doing with the monster bodies? The Naga, the Oni. I don't know if you count Hoodrick in that as a monster body. Some of the skeletons.
Can Rook actually spend a plot token retcon something like back when the Naga or the Oni died?
Yeah.
He would spend a reaction to get a charm.
To get a charm, like almost like a...
it's a
token.
Ah, okay.
It's your rogue feature.
No,
right?
it's okay.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, because you were kind of quiet and just stealthy at that point, I think it makes sense that you might scoop in and like, I can use this against them. You didn't even have a weapon at that point, but you were like, the Naga's down. So I'm gonna say you yanked out some scales from the fallen Naga. And
no, he doesn't need to. He would just reaction, and a coin would appear in his hand with the likeness and face of the Naga.
Nice. And I'm going to say that one of your ghostly friends like flicks it. So it's not there, and you just catch it. And then it is there.
Like a little magic trick. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like prestidigitation, but with the Naga's face on the coin. And then same with the Oni. I'm not sure what that does exactly, so remind me. Or tell me later.
Token. Okay.
It's up to you. You can choose.
It's a level 9 ability. I can, while I hold at least one, I have advantage on con saves. I can use it to help with Whales of the Grave. I can also expend one to speak to the remnants of the soul. That was like, I can destroy the soul trinket, and I can speak to the spirit associated with the trinket and ask it one question.
I'm gonna say, in a moment, tell me when you check your so you've got it, and then you got busy trying to rearm and all this stuff. So let me know when you look at the coin again. But in the meantime, Isolde, how did you do? You got a 15 on your when you came back with it was your passive perception.
Was a 15, yeah.
Okay, that is enough.
And
everyone else has been really busy, and it's been really slow and subtle. So that's why they didn't notice. But when you first left, the body of the Oni was about 8 feet away from the fire, crumpled, stabbed through multiple times. Just wrecked by the paladins both and the rogue. Just stabbed and stabbed and stabbed. Massive pool of disgusting blood. This huge, rather large, crumpled, like it's a giant body, size of an ogre, crumpled on the ground in amongst the robes tattered robes, even more tattered and bloodstained. When you come back, you notice that it's facing the other way. Its head away from the fire, and it's probably now about 10 feet away.
I'm gonna look at the people who are kind of doing the Balin. I think who else was helping with the aerial stuff other than Balin?
I think everybody.
Everybody?
Kind of
Okay.
That's how I interpreted it.
I don't think that. I think probably anyone except for Empty. Unless people were like, "Hey, Empty, you got to work." I think she's just kind of sitting there with the staff in one hand and this like mushroom thing that she's picked up and just kind of looking at it. And there is sort of an element of just like, I don't want to use a word of tuning because it's such a like gameplay term, but she's like learning from this living staff, right? Like it's literally a tree that has been transformed into a staff. It's like alive. And she's like just holding these two like living objects in both hands and just like thinking about the world in a way she hasn't before. But so she's a little distracted unless someone's like, "Hey, Empty, wake up. You gotta go. You gotta dig bodies."
No, I don't think anybody has. Elias, are you helping with the bodies? Or are you staying put?
Yeah.
Also, speaking of bodies, what are you going to do with your grandmother?
So yeah, once he realizes that they're not going back to the Smuggler's Cove for the night, he would approach Balon and just be like, "I apologize for being short, but I think a coffin would be best. I appreciate your offer."
There's no apology necessary. It's I can only imagine what you're going through right now, and yeah, it'd be a pleasure if find a tree or a rock that suits you, and I can make something nice for you.
He would pay, like, he would just point to the first tree and then just grab a shovel to start helping everyone else out.
Okay, absolutely. It's right about now that Isolde has come back and mentions the possible campsites a little bit away, and then also points at the crumpled form of the Oni.
Actually, before pointing it out, yeah, it coincides with something I was going to do anyway, so perfect. As I kind of come back and I kind of glance over at Gex and Rook, I'll just kind of be, how you walk and you just kind of shuffle your feet. You don't quite pick them up. You're just kind of like pouting. She's doing that, and she's just kind of kicking at the ground, kicking at the dirt, and she kind of walks over to what's his name? The who are we fighting this whole time? Huh?
You're thinking of Hoodrick?
Hoodrick, yeah.
Are you talking about? Yeah, okay, Hoodrick.
Yeah, she's gonna walk over to Hoodrick and see his body kind of on the ground and just be like, and just hoof it. She's gonna give him a big old friggin' kick in the head.
You can,
just to make
you
sure.
hear bone kind of give way underneath your boot.
And then I'll kind of look back again over at Gex and walk, body to body, just kind of kicking him. And then I'll walk to the Oni, and give it a good old hoof.
What's
Does
your strength?
anything happen? 10.
Don't break your foot.
So
Don't break your foot.
You pull back and you go to kick as hard as you can into this, and your toe is already a little sore from kicking all these things. You go over and kick the Oni, and you're like not doing much damage. It's like it's 1 HP. That's it. So you managed to kick Hoodrick pretty good for you. Didn't do much damage. You walk over to this Oni and you're just reel back and go to kick it, and your foot passes right through this thing, and you go up, and like it's the classic Peanuts pulled the football away. You just and just totally almost like knock yourself over. You stop yourself, and then you look at this thing, and there's this kind of as though you just kicked a jet of steam. This cloud, it keeps swirling up.
Gex? And her anger and animosity toward him is gone.
And
now she's shitting bricks.
You all turn and look, and this mist slowly is rising up just behind Isolde from your perception, from where you're standing, and it's got this shimmering, shifting shape to it, but it is clearly the same kind of dark bluish skin tone and tattered cloak, but now in the shape of a mist, a gaseous mist of this Oni rising up and then retreating back into the night. Hold on one sec. Let's just do some rollies. Isolde. I'm just gonna get you to roll a d20 for me. Or
Like,
here,
based
you can
on her-
pick. You can pick red or blue.
I will go with the color of my hair, blue.
All right. So blue wins. You're great.
I got an 18, by the way, on the 20. I don't know if you still wanted me to do that.
Oh no, that's okay. That was something else. So I don't know if you can see on my my thing, but the red one came up as a 3 and the blue came up as a nat 20. So this Oni, the gaseous claws reach out towards you, and you hear this voice, this deep resonant bass, but as though removed slightly, just echoing, like you could almost feel its hot breath on your neck, and it's leaning down, like towering over you, and it says, "Another time."
Stop!
And it retreats away from you. The mist just passing, the clawed hand just passing harmlessly through your neck, and it retreats back into the dark and into the forest and just into the ground, where it just joins this other natural mist that's beginning to rise as the nighttime comes on. The Oni
Does
body.
Balin see this going on?
Oh yeah, everybody heard Isolde crying. Yeah, or not crying,
Could I
but like
try to
calling out.
cast telekinesis on it to see if I can like hold it in place?
I'm gonna
retrieving?
get you to roll initiative. This will be just an initiative off to see who gets to go first. It's gonna have advantage because it did get the chance to it got the surprise basically. But I'm gonna give you a shot.
I got a 5.
A 5? I mean, sometimes I roll garbage. 19.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, by the time you're literally busy packing dirt over a body, and you turn around and 50 feet away, Isolde's like, "What?" And you can barely even see what's going on, even with your dwarven eyes. Unfortunately, anybody else want to do something? Say anything?
Yeah,
What
Gex
happened?
should
I
have
don't know. Yeah, didn't really see it.
get there.
Heard a scream. That was it.
Is the body gone?
The Oni is gone. It did not appear to have died, and it lay there until it saw an opening,
Mm.
and then it went gaseous with its gaseous form spell and misted away.
Is there still his blood on the floor?
There is, yeah, quite a lot of it.
Okay. Yeah. Eli's gonna go ahead and scrape some of that up into a vial.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So you're looking around. A lot of the bodies that were the one-time allies are now buried. Is there anything else anybody wants to do as you're kind of all reconvening back before you head off towards one of these campsites?
So Balin would be fabricating a couple things. I'd use fabricate to make the coffin for Eli's grandmother, and I'd also like to use fabricate to kind of maybe make a rune stone or something to put at the center, so that kind of a memorial of the battle, a tribute to the Mage Tower soldiers who changed sides, kind of thing, just kind of honoring what they did. They made the right choice in the end. And
Nice.
I'd also like to talk to Rook about that book, because I know Clan Iron Eater, one of the things we're known for is we usually scribe a lot of our spells as tattoos onto our body. And I could show the people that, take off my gauntlet, my spell book's written on my skin, it's how I'm recording my fireball. And so to see that, I kind of shake my head and be like, Torrig, you've fallen into the twisted ways of the Mage Order, it's, this isn't the way our people do things.
He says through
I'm
his
sorry,
gag.
Torrig. I'd love to talk to you right now, but we got to get that stone out of your head first. I don't think I can ungag you. I'm sorry.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before you leave this valley?
I guess so. I was thinking maybe I'd do it later, but I did describe myself sort of looking down and focusing on a thing. As everyone sort of finishes up with what they are working on, bodies being buried, the mess with the Oni disappearing, anything else that needs to sort of come together, we hear a voice that has not previously been heard, a sort of surprised and high-pitched, very not like a baby, but like a oh, like that kind of just like sort of sounds of observation and curiosity, and the mushroom that Empty has been holding, the one that grew off of the fairy ring. I don't know how big it is. I don't know if the spell makes it bigger. Probably not. So I'm imagining just kind of like probably a pretty large mushroom, but like this big. It's alive now. It's a mushroom.
Like, it talks?
Yes, I have cast Awaken, which is one of the spells in the Staff of the Woodlands.
That's amazing.
It now has an intelligence of 10.
Oh my gosh.
And it can speak one language.
What language do you want it to be?
I guess if I'm the one casting the spell and I don't like really know how it works, I'm just like doing it. I'm like letting the magic of the staff come out. It would innately either be my, primary language, which would be common, or maybe it's Druidic. Like I learned Druidic from the like residual magic of the staff and the experience of like. This, so it's either common or it's Druidic.
I'm thinking because it's mostly the staff that's doing it, it's mostly Druidic, but you can understand it. No one else can unless they have that
no
spell.
idea what Druidic sounds like. There's no like any style guide for that. All of anything.
Now, full disclosure, it's going to probably be one of these two things. I kind of now I don't want to do this to you but my first instinct says it's probably, hey guys, want to get high? Or
okay, I mean that's kind of how I described it. Yeah.
Or go with the classic.
I am Groot.
Could go either way.
Yeah, I think it's the first one. I mean, you can decide what they say, but that's like totally. What I meant is like as a language, I don't know what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
If you don't understand it,
I
have no clue.
For you, it's
like.
this weird. Anyway, all right. For everybody else, it's this weird like.
So I think it's mostly just like just like sounds, right?
Yeah, I can only
not
speak
that I think Druidic
one
sounds like
sentence
that,
in
but,
common, which is, and this is my plot point, even though I get those unlimited. My plot point is the only sentence it can say in common, other than just like, is, you want to get high?
No, in Russia, you make mushroom high.
Oh, it's true.
No, that's just my joke.
The classic
David
return.
Classic meme.
In Russia, you hallucinate a mushroom.
Oh. All right. Well, I think this is a good point. So
anyway, that happens. You can react as appropriate.
Yeah. You guys hear this weird thing. And it's got little spindly arms and legs, so it can move around.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, I did draw a little picture. Let's post that. I didn't color it yet, so it's just. I guess I'll just have it on the blank background. Don't wait for this. This is going to take a second. But the point being is that, that happens.
That's
and I'm like, and I'm just sort of like, I think we kind of are like baby talking at each other, Like that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, how are you? Where are you? And I look at the staff and I look at them. Did Ashina send you?
Oh.
Hi.
Part of me really
Excellent,
wants to
great,
make
great.
this mushroom a baritone.
Yeah.
Go. I mean, you can do that
No, it's
too.
okay.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. So anyway, while you're conversing with
If you
the mushrooms
understand
over
the
there,
language, that's what it sounds
oh man,
like.
this makes me miss
Otherwise-
Dave. Anyway, I think this is a good spot for us to pause. So I'm just gonna end on have a little break, and then we'll come back. But before we do, just gonna one last little thing with Rook there. Rook, as you're all kind of about to leave camp, you look back over this. You know, you got that coin in your hand. Parting thoughts? Or Talithar?
He's. I think it'll be more like Talithar than Rook. So I think Rook is going to be kind of quiet and introspective, being finally free, and might hold on to the coin and not notice that the Onis is not there. But Talithar is just going to kind of. You'll glance at Torg and the others and look back at what just happened, and as we go, he'll just say, "We did good back there. Could have scattered or fled, but we didn't, and we won. They won't forget that anytime soon."
No. And you guide your gagged and bound friend, dragging his heels up into the mountain pass and off to find that camp that Isolde found earlier. All right, and with that, we're going to take ourselves a little 10-minute break. Internet, don't forget, you can always jump in and say hey. We are Psychos Live. Jump back in a couple minutes. See you soon.
And the party took not a short rest, a long rest. Click that button.
You must gather your
You
party.
must gather your party before venturing forth.
I don't know, anyone here play Modern Day? Does anybody know what I'm doing?
All right, and we're back. Hey, Internet. We're already around over here, but that's the way it goes. Don't forget, we do take viewer suggestions. We also take viewer suggestions for products. We will do a product placement in our show. I believe Steve is our general copywriter, but we can, subcontract if we want to. And both Darcy and Timely are fantastic artists, so check it out. We often put that on the Instagram. Also, just a reminder, click the thing. Do that if you get the chance, because, hey, why not? And we're back. Hey, guess what, everybody? You finally got a night's rest. You camped. It was lovely. If you take a look on Roll20 right now, you're on the camping site. Oh, that's fight music. It's like, I'm sleeping. Very energetic sleep. All right. So it's a beautiful night. The moon and the stars are up for most of the night. You get a long rest. Are you going to post watch? Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, seems appropriate.
So you pair up for watches, you dole it out, and
Rook is actually probably, he doesn't sleep, so he's keeping watch.
Nice, but people will still rotate in.
Yeah,
but Rook will always
but
be one. Oh, that means Rook gets a bunch of time to get to know each of you around the campfire. I don't know how verbose. Don't post watch. What could happen? That's a good point there, Robert. Thanks for jumping in. Just viewer suggestions. We always love that. Anyway, so Rook is up, and you all get a chance to at least share some space with him. Are you quick? Let's go around the horn and check in see how people feel about sitting up in the middle of the night around a campfire with this guy who doesn't seem to move much. You can almost forget that he's even there. He certainly isn't breathing. So, let's just go down the list real fast. Empty. What's something that comes up in conversation, or is there a conversation when Empty Wisdom is up with Rook?
That's a great question. She's kind of socially awkward, and a lot of the times that we've seen her in scenes with their characters, she's sort of warmed up to the rest of the party a little bit, but she's still sort of... I've only had a few conversations with all of these people, because it hasn't actually been that long. D&D, you know how that happens. So even then, it's not much, and now there's a new person that she's not really aware of. Assuming she's on watch, like, alone. Like, I don't know if we were splitting it up with more people or not. And I realized that Rook's there, right? But you know what I mean, like, alone. Assuming that's the case, yeah, I think she's holding, again, like the staff and this like mushroom thing with little legs and arm nubs, but is very much keeping to herself. Like, she doesn't know how to initiate conversation, so she doesn't. If Rook wants to, totally is an opportunity, totally is the idea of, like, she maybe looks like she wants to, but doesn't know, like, anything to say, or if she should. So I think it's mostly just kind of like eyes looking over, eyes looking back, like muttering something to this like
at one point
mushroom baby.
At one point, the little mushroom, taking this in with its weirdly observant little mushroom eyes, sprouts long legs that kind of almost like Adventure Time, kind of long legs and limbs, kind of crawls down from your lap, Empty, and goes walking over to Rook and puts one stubby little, one spindly little growth that is an arm equivalent up on Rook's knee, and looks up at him and goes,
Hi.
Yeah.
Rook, what do you say?
Rook just nods silently.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what I did or what happened.
And he just shrugs silently at Empty. He doesn't make a noise, though. He's actually trying to keep quiet and keep lookout for anything.
All right. And Empty retrieves their little friend and the rest of your watch passes without incident. All right, Gex, we had some interaction with you and Rook, but in that time, is there anything else you feel you need to say to your long separated friend?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll sit down next to him and just kind of, recount what actually happened between... Well, first of all, try to figure out when the last time they actually did see each other was, and then just kind of fill him in.
I think it was the store.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Like, that's season 1.
Yeah. So it feels like a long time. So I'll fill him in on the voyage, blowing up the ship. I'll maybe sing him half a verse of Teenage Sea Hag.
I'm just a teenage sea hag, baby.
He's like, I was working on it. Blowing up the ship, landing, phase beast, T-Rex, breaking Tillman's drum, fixing Tillman's drum, talking to dragons, murdering a doppelganger.
Rook will fill him in as well, quietly, mostly using Ensign, but also mention yes, the shop, and then also how he figured it out when they were getting off on the island and swimming and going down, and he felt like he was drowning, but he knows he can't drown, and that's when he figured it out and was able to escape and regroup with Calron and then go back on one more mission and to take out the brothers and retrieve the orb, but ultimately only partially successful in killing the brothers, and then being taken out by the beholder and its minions. He'll recount just briefly what it was like, mentioning that there's a hunting ground and that he's been killed over and over again and resurrected, and in his time has observed things.
Well, that sounds definitely like something that should not exist.
The thing that probably jumps out at you the most about that is the fact that they are using clerics with the crystals embedded, and using them to bring back or do whatever they need to. And many of them are imprisoned in the same cells that Rook had been imprisoned in.
And then, Rook will mention how it's now seems all linked back to the artifact. And then even the crystal star at the gauntlet.
In some ways, yeah, our luck has been the opposite in some ways. I definitely don't feel good about leaving something like that, allowing it to continue. If you want to go dismantle that whole thing and set all those people free, we'll go do it.
And he was saying, thanks, sounds good. Who's the tag along?
Well, we have kind of gathered a bit of a crew. It's kind of just an extension of the way the few of us got together when we reconnected initially back in Tazfarel. Isolde there was a mate on the bullship, who ended up. I just kind of took her under my wing. You already know Hilda, and the rest of them, we just kind of connected up one by one through in various situations. Tavern brawl, you end up on the same side. Ambushed by monsters in the woods, you end up on the same side, and it's kind of organic, I suppose.
All right. So as you're bringing each other up to speed, reconnecting, and you fall back in, it's like seeing an old friend. There's the awkward kind of seeing the old friend. You're like, eh. Or there's the kind where you pick up the conversation almost without a hitch. And it seems like you're more the latter. All right. And that's your watch. Hilda?
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell us what you got up to with Rook there, and then during your watch?
I guess anything that Gex hasn't really already covered. I mean, certainly everything seems to be a blur. I remember Paulus and the death of Paulus. Of Alreside. But most of all, I am probably more curious to hearing more about the warning we got from our good friend.
I mean, I think Brooke would kind of relate a lot of not all the information that he mentioned to Gex, but enough to kind of the broad strokes that, like, just like with the importance of the crystal that at the gauntlet, because he remembers Hilda being there in the competition, and that we need to find a way to finish this. and that going by sea may not be a safe route anymore.
Okay.
All
Just
right.
like we can't contact him anymore. We can't contact Dave anymore. I hope he's okay.
Rook will nod, but he also kind of shrugs because he hasn't seen Tillman in a very long time, and happy to get the warning, but doesn't really know how he'd be able to help Tillman in this situation. He thinks like the best way to help him is to finish this, and that means the quickest way back, especially if the beholder's injured.
It was pretty messed up when you saw it last. All right. Bella. Sorry, Isolde.
So when she gets up for her watch and sees Rick there, she's just gonna kind of look at him, sit down, and just kind of be, playing with something small in her hand, and eventually she'll be like, "So, you gonna try to kill me too?" Because somebody who looked like you already tried to kill me. How do I know you are you?
Because if I tried to kill you, you'd be dead.
Ooh.
And at that, she'll kind of grab her weapon. Not too sure. She doesn't trust or like him. Like, yeah. Her jealousy is so raging green. Yeah, she's acting her age right now.
That's an awkward watch. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She's just gonna kind of shift over a little bit and not be next to him.
I'm only here because of the fire. All right. Elias.
Relationships still not there.
It's now that really dark time, a couple hours before dawn. Isolde goes off and wakes Elias for their watch. Elias, what do you get up to, you and Rook?
So he's gonna just go outside with his stuff. He has a bottle of hair dye, so he's gonna do that. And just kind of look at Rook and is just like, yeah, excuse my bluntness, but clearly you know everyone here, or at least some of them. So, like, who are you?
I'm going to get you... I'm going to say that as you're doing this, you are pouring the dye, you get it in the veins and the cracks of your hand, and you look down at your hand. And I'm going to get you to roll an Arcana check.
Okay. 18 again.
Well, how do you respond, Rook?
I'd kind of quietly look at Elias, and I'll just say, Gex, Hilda, and I are in the same crew. We just got separated, and a doppelganger took my place. Doppelganger's dead, and so are his brothers, and now I'm here.
Do you know anything about what went on, who the beholder is, or?
He is secretly the leader of the Inquisition. and he must be killed.
Elias, you look
Got
at the
it.
palm of your hand, and the stain, the ink, has been seeping into little cracks, making feather-like or leaf-like patterns in your skin. And you begin to see shapes. You begin to see patterns. And they begin to shift until they form a very clear picture of an eye done in what color ink?
Black.
In black in your palm. And it blinks. And then it pulls back, and you can see that it's one of many eyes on the side of this beholder, looking in many directions. And
He's
then
gonna shake his head.
yeah, you shake your head, and the last thing you saw was this beholder delving, searching for something. It's wounded, and you can hear in the back of your mind on the wind. Where is it? Where? Dangerous. But so are they.
Eli's not having this. Not the day after his grandma died. I'm gonna pull out the crystal that I took from Empty, and I'm gonna cast scrying on it to try and find this thing.
All right then. I'm gonna need. Oh, I need to do some. Oh, hold on. I gotta switch these back.
Oh, no momento.
Okay, so I believe that's saving throws. Okay. It is a new day. If you have any, you've had your long rest. If there's anything you want to do. You focus on this crystal, and the image still, even though it's not active anymore, you can still see the rough, crude shape that your mind had interpreted as an eyeball, etched in ink in your palm. And you can sense a strong connection there. And you use that and this crystal that had been pulled away. Now this crystal, it belonged to one creature, but it was used on another. Which being do you want to try to track down?
He's hoping that since he's assuming that the beholder put it in the Reaper's forehead, so he's gonna try and follow that track.
Okay. The creature that had long worn it and had it embedded is closer, far enough away right now, and moving fast away. You get that for free. But you follow the other scent. Deep underground. Your mind just through passages in such a blur that it's almost impossible to keep track. You see stone. You see not rough. It's pretty well made, like underground, no windows, torches and sconces. You see some soldiers walking around. They're wearing the kind of white and gray robes of the Inquisition. Past one hall, down another, you see a creature made of bone. Eyes, a long snout. You flash past that. You see a priest or a cleric or something, a red jewel embedded in their forehead. And you see next to them another man wearing very fine clothes, contrasting almost totally. The caster, the priest or cleric, tattered robes, worn, gaunt. And you can see this other person wearing quite fine furs, white and gray, speckled, showing station. You see them standing and speaking into the dark. We will be ready, my master. They won't get far.
Do not underestimate them. I will not make that mistake again.
The voice calls out in the darkness. You can see something shifting. It's the beholder. You can see an eye stalk. You see it turn a little. It's looking in a room, down a tunnel. The wall of this smooth cave the smooth stone has actually been pulled up open, revealing rough-hewn cracks just barely big enough for this beholder to have squeezed through. It's down below in a chamber, shifting through. It's looking for something. You can hear stuff being tossed around. You see this lord, this person wearing the fine vestments, nod with deference and turn. And they pull on part of the wall, and it slides. And as the door is just closing, it calls out into the darkness. It shall be done, my lord. We'll be ready.
Okay, so I'm just like relaying all of that to Rook as I'm seeing it. Just kind of like basically dictating what I'm seeing.
I'm going to say if you want to, you can not bring him along, but like you have to use your scrying ball that you've got from so he could actually peer into this with you and see this as
okay,
well.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask him, like, does any of this seem familiar?
Does the person, like, do I recognize the Lord? Like, is that Lord
You
Turnbull,
don't recognize the Lord. You do recognize the caster who's with him, and the Lord definitely has their veined control crystal, but the caster has the corruption shard, the red shard embedded in their forehead. You recognize that person. You didn't talk to them, but you saw them in the cells with you over those weeks.
Okay.
You don't actually recognize these particular hallways. They seem to be a slightly different set of hallways than the... Oh, wait a minute. No, they are. Sorry, my mistake. Retcon that. Here, let me take that back for a second. You do recognize these hallways as some of the ones you've walked down, but you didn't notice that particular door before. In the wall there, it seems to be some kind of secret passage to a chamber beneath that the beholder is in.
I'll take note of that secret door and opening and closing of it. The hallways, where do I recognize it from?
It's actually just, you remember where you were in a cell, and then you remember the chamber leading to where the teleportation ritual spell had been cast. It's actually just past that. You remember part of that hallway, in part because you were dragged at one point after you were resurrected down that particular hallway by several of these guard types, inquisitor types, and you were held down on a chamber, and a very large being, which you now recognize as the Oni, had you held down on a sort of an altar on a stone table there, as they tried to press one of these red corruption shards into your forehead in a ritual, but the ritual wouldn't take, so the shards just kept pressing into your forehead and then piercing the skin, but not digging deep, and they would shatter. There's something about people who don't have an innate connection to spellcasting that makes it very difficult to control them. Monsters, not so much. Certain monsters can definitely have that effect and be controlled by these corruption shards. But humans and elves and things, it seems the guards don't seem to have it. You've never seen like a martial character who's successfully been implanted with one of these corruption shards. It seems like in that room they were frustrated when they tried to take you, but unfortunately for them it didn't take effect and it wouldn't sink in, so you ended up with a nasty headache and were brutally beaten, and then you were thrown back in your cell. So you recognize this as the hallway that was going over towards that altar.
Okay. I'll take note of that.
Okay. All right, Brandon. Is there anything Elias wants to do? You've had your vision. You have a pretty good idea of where this is. It's down in the tunnels beneath a certain section of a city. I don't know. Have you ever spent time in Tazvrel? Your character?
I was just here visiting Granny.
No, this is on the island. This is on the mainland. If you wanted to, it's one of the biggest cities in the area. A particular connection, if you want to dovetail, it could be from that town. It might not. It's up to you.
I would say maybe as a child, not recent, anytime recent.
Okay. So you know it is in Tazvrel, somewhere underneath, but you don't have specifics. But Rook, you know pretty well where this is. All right. And last but not least, Balin, do you want to have any interactions with this newcomer, Rook?
Sure. So first is just a piece of like description. When Rook showed up, he was, I assume, kind of dressed in like prison outfit, right?
Yeah, tattered.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
and I kind of
stole
provide that
armor and weapons off the dead bodies.
Okay. Because I was gonna say before we buried the Naga's body, I might have used my last thing of fabricate to maybe try to like make him some armor or something.
Nice. You could actually take the ill-fitting armor and turn it into something. What? Out of curiosity, because I want to be kind about this, because I keep throwing your character for a loop. Rook. Did Rook have any fancy armor or any equipment that is worthy of note?
Yeah. I mean, he had a +1 short bow and a +1 studded leather armor.
I'm going to say that with a little bit of work, because you've got a master dwarven fabricator over there, you could pretty quickly, between what the Mage Tower people were carrying, what Hoodrick himself had a magical weapon on him, you could reform that into what Rook would like.
Okay. Because that's something I like to do. I would kind of just assume the way they showed up together, they've both been in prison together, maybe, Rook knows a little bit about what went on with Toreg, what he's suffering from, and maybe even, help keep him safe or sane in that experience. So I kind of want to, give him a gift of armor or something like that. If, like, you kept my kin safe, here's something to keep you safe. And yeah, so he'd sit down next to him and make that offer and ask him the question. Yeah, if you don't want to talk about it, I understand, but I'd Torig's my cousin, and I'd just like to know anything I could about what he's gone through, what you might know about the implantation of that gem, if it's even safe for us to remove it. Because before he gagged him, he did ask me to kill him, and well, that's not something I want to do if he is incurable. Unfortunately, I feel like I'd have to honor that request, but I'd like to do everything I can to heal him first.
He's gone through a lot of torment. He's been enslaved by the Beholder through that gem. I've seen it dispelled before on another with the dispel magic. That can nullify the gem when it was done. he is the key for us to get back quickly. If we can release him, then he can create a teleportation circle, likely to a familiar place, and get us back safe and sound. If it doesn't work for some reason, you or the other wizard must learn that spell. Get us out of here.
Well, that's good to know. If just a little bit more rest, I should have my energy back. I should be able to pull a dispel and see if that works.
So, just so you know, it is coming up on dawn. You have the benefit of a long rest already. And you can pick whatever spells you like, whatever ones you know.
Okay. All right, I'll definitely do that then. I noticed Torrig had a spell book on him. That's an uncommon thing for my people, as you can see. And again, I can pull off my gauntlet. We usually inscribe our magic onto our skin through tattoos. The fact that he was using a spell book is quite concerning to me. I know he fell in a bit with some he's got a bit of a reputation in the clan as a guy who gets himself in dangerous situations. Likes to look outside of the what's accepted for knowledge and power. If I could study the book, perhaps I might be able to learn more about what he was into.
I mean, I think you should ask him. If you're able to release him, then it's his book to share, not mine.
That's fair enough.
All right. The sun comes up. Everybody rouses. Make some food. The day is yours.
So I'm gonna wait for everybody to be about their wits before I kind of just go over to Talithar and Rook. I'm like, all right, well, and Balin, I'm like, I guess it's showtime if you want to do this. And he pulls out his spell book to cast a spell magic.
Rook, in your ear, it's like this face. You're sitting there, and in profile, this face of your young. It's funny because your friends never age, but even though you feel like you're older, and they seem even younger than you somehow. But her face of Cat kind of leans in over your shoulder, just whispering. And as the mages prepare and gather up and kind of get Talithar gets Torrig down and kind of rouses him, gives him something to drink through the gag, and then gets ready to cast this. Cat whispers over your shoulder. You didn't sleep, but sometimes you stare and lose time. Beneath the caves, in the prisons, I noticed those who were freshly crystalled were healthy, hale for a time. But the longer it's in, the more it drains, the more it takes. And the harder it is. It's been in that dwarf a long time. Okay.
Rook will mumble back. So if anyone is like nearby to hear him, he'll mumble to something to no one in particular. We'll give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, give him a clean end.
All right. Who's casting Dispel Magic?
I feel like if anything goes wrong, I kind of want it to be on my hands. So I would be kind of insistent about trying first.
You can both try together if you want.
I mean, if that's a thing we can do, I'd absolutely want some assistance, because, yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
I'll tell you
I'm
what.
not sure what kind of magic
Let's
we're
do
dealing with
it-
here. I don't know what Torg has gotten into.
Let's do this as an Arcana check, and you can either each roll, or one of you can roll with advantage. And the other person aiding using the spell slot, though.
I'm gonna just go ahead and use the portent.
I just got a nat 20 on my Arcana
Okay,
check, so-
damn it. Well,
Elias, you begin casting, and your mind kind of drifts for a second, and you almost hear on the wind a voice be like, "Pay attention, boy." And it's just this really quick flashback to what your grandma would do. Like, and your knuckle hurts briefly for a second, and you slot in that portent dice, and boom. So what did you get with the portent dice, Elias?
it was 18.
Nice. That's pretty good. All right, and Balin with the nat 20 when it matters most. Okay. I think it's only fair that Talithar would officially roll this. Well, the crystal, the magic is now just vibrating and holding Torg up, and even lifts him slightly off the ground, the power of both mages casting this. And the crystal in his forehead begins to vibrate and just move almost a couple of, like, basically an inch out of the forehead, and it is embedded. It is deep. It seems like it's been almost growing as it's been in there. And so you've now pulled it out magically a little bit, and it's ready to be grasped. Who's going to do the official removal?
I think Talithar will do it.
Okay. The dwarf, your old friend, looking haggard, mechanically at 4 points of exhaustion. And quite a lot of damage. It hasn't seemed to heal with rest. And he's
Probably didn't get much rest.
yeah, like biting on the gag, just almost chewing through it. Not in an, and you can just, he locks eyes with Talithar, and you look up at him, and his tears pouring down his face, and he's just like,
Talithar's going to give her.
all right. Talithar, please roll. You might want to do this on roll 20. I'm going to need you to roll 20 d10.
Okay. On roll 20 because of 20d. Okay, I'm gonna roll this. I've got dice. 20
Yeah.
d10. Can I do 10 d20?
Physical dice.
Fine.
Sure,
let's
you
do
can do
this.
10 d20 if you prefer.
No.
That's
10,
just
I will do 20 d10. Let's do this. Someone write this down. A 9. A 3. A 7.
We're doing this old school.
A 5. That's 4. A 6. That's 5. An 8. A 1. A 9. An 8. A 5. I think that's halfway. A 6. A 6. A 4. Another 6. A 9. And then a 10. A 1. Another 10. An 8. And another 8. Done.
All right. Add them up.
Oh God.
Someone- I didn't write it down.
I got it. I'm just gonna take a second to. I didn't add pluses between all these. Yeah, I'm sure actually adding it up is gonna be faster than what I'm doing here.
129.
How much?
129.
That sounds about right. I'm just doing it here too, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, well, fact check this.
Yep, 129.
All right.
Weird, I got 117. Oh, the last 8's not in there. I messed up.
yeah.
Okay.
So, because you cast Dispel Magic, what is half of that?
Half of 130.
64? 64 rounded down.
64.
I don't know.
Torig, like when he's just pulling, and there's a sickening as this crystal comes out. It is almost like 6 inches long, and it's been pulled out of his forehead, and the body just jerks, and blood just pouring down this dwarf. His beard is soaked in blood, and his eyes roll back in his head, and his legs start to twitch.
Talothar's going to fall.
Pardon?
Talothar was going to try to heal him for fall.
Okay. How many hit points is that?
50.
I would be shouting for Hilda. Now's your chance to prove your father wrong. You are always a great doctor.
I'm in here. Cure wounds? Let's go.
There is a brief time. Well, Hilda, you drop a Cure Wounds into him, yeah? I'm going to get you to roll an initiative roll, just to see how fast this can land.
Yeah.
Because
the empty, like, watching this, right, has been very quiet.
Ooh,
Like, what's going to happen? And,
That's a 4.
yeah. Okay.
No, my
All
legs
right.
are so short.
So there's a moment. There's a moment where the spike comes out and Talthar just drops it and then sees that their friend is busy dying. And there's like, oh, and he's going to slap him on the forehead with the lay on hands. But there's a moment there, a pass. I'm going to need somebody to roll a D10 or a D20, sorry. Anyway,
Do you want high or low? Someone roll it.
You want high.
Someone roll.
We want high. Don't look
Go
at
ahead,
me.
Jordan.
That
I feel
was
like
not
it's
high.
you.
Well,
I mean, I could
Quick
roll
question.
it.
If you're this
Looks
exhausted
like,
and
Steve
ability
did it.
scores are at disadvantage, does death save go at disadvantage?
It's not an ability score.
Okay,
It's not
just
any
checking.
test. It's just a roll, yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe, am I wrong? I might be wrong about that now that I think about it.
Death
So
save-
you can spend
Or-
like in inspiration to get advantage, but anything else doesn't count normally.
Okay.
Yeah. So it shouldn't have disadvantage.
All right.
Sorry, someone rolling or am I rolling or who?
I rolled a 12.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, you rolled a
Balin
12.
rolled. Just running in there, trying to get in there in time. Rolled a 12. It's a tough dwarf. Your cousin is a tough. He comes from good stock. Even though he's dying, he holds on that little bit and just boom, this like flash of like almost like he caught the dawn glint, but it's the wrong direction as Talithar just right on the forehead just palms him. And a flash of brilliant light, and Hilda runs in there a few seconds later, thumping in with a bunch more HP dumping into this poor riddled dwarf. He was at down by about 20 something hit points, so not quite instant death. I'm glad you guys cast that dispel magic, because that would have been instant death. But in this case, you managed to save him, and he has a wicked crater in the middle of his forehead and will till his dying day. It is a severely fractured skull. You can see brain matter. It is bad, but you can see it begins to scab over from all this healing magic, and there's he's not bleeding anymore. He's stable. He's alive apparently with 40. Hilda, did you drop healing into him too, or?
Yep.
How much?
Let's see how much. Going in there.
For some reason, it's
19 points.
Nice. So he's almost at full health again. He's at 60 or so.
Yeah.
So he's down a little bit, but not too bad. And there's finally color coming back into his skin. He's been so pale and sickly, and so now he's back. He's
Yeah, I'm gonna ungag him.
You stubborn son of a bitch. You should have killed me when you had that chance. Thank you.
I wasn't gonna let you go out like that. It's been years, Torg. It's good to see you.
Aye. It's good to see you too. Let's just hope that you don't wish you were dead by the end of this. Does anybody have a drink? Because I have a headache.
I think
water or stronger stuff.
Talthar is going to give him a skin of drink, kind of jovially. Torek, did you see? Did you see? I kicked that father's ass.
I saw.
Ran away like a scared little pansy. Oh,
I was cheering for you right before I tried to slit your throat.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry about that. I killed a lot of good people.
Yeah, they did the right thing in the end. But it wasn't you.
Yeah. Alright, well. Let's go kill that fucking beholder then. Are we doing this now then?
I think like Talthar is like about to say yes and says, wait a minute, we have another passenger.
What
that we need to get. You know our mission?
Aye.
It got
get
up,
the crystal to the dragons.
Yeah, it got updated. We need to escort. And yeah, Talthar will point to Gex and the others and say, Gex and Hilda and Isolde, and say they actually made it there first. Mission's changed to escort their emissary back.
Huh. And all that time, I thought the other teams were the dummy orbs. Turns out it was us. Makes sense. They were watching us. They still are watching you, Tal. They have these creatures, the Reapers. They got more than one. Big bastards. Some of the monsters, they control. Other monsters willingly sign up. I'll tell you on the way. I guess the main question is, do you want to go back and get you the Mage Tower right quick? Or they gave me their circle. I can get us right in. I can take us right to them.
Talthar paused that because he hoped that, but wasn't sure. And kind of turns to the others. What do you guys think?
So you're saying you can jump us right to the right to who?
Into the lair.
He can teleport us right back to the teleportation circle.
Where you left, Rook.
There. Yeah, Rook is looking at him like and kind of quiet, but he'll speak up and say, right back into the heart, the belly of the lair.
Deep down underneath the undertow there. The tunnels go for miles. We can find our way in from the outside as well. Probably. It's a bit of a maze, but yeah, deep underneath the abandoned part of the city.
Past all their defenses.
Well,
how long does it take for you to cast this?
Maybe a minute.
They will know that the link is broken. So if we do this, we have to go basically now.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you can do surprise, here I am, then why not do that?
Worked so well when we were saving Grandma. So well.
Yeah.
And how many... Do they have someone else that can cast it for them? The
Aye,
teleportation circle?
they've got a lot of mages. Some of them I know, some I don't. Some I don't. I think they might have somebody I haven't seen, or maybe the beholder can make it. The scrolls that are doling out. That's the kind of magic I can't even do myself. So they got somebody big on there. But they're holed up underneath. And that beholder's digging in the dirt looking for something beneath in the ruins below.
They're sending someone after us. Is there any way we could time it so that as soon as they come after us, we go after them? It's a couple less people to deal with.
I mean, if you know when they're gonna come. But it takes me a minute to cast a spell, so like, you'd need to know a minute in advance. I can do a lot of things, but I can't tell the future.
Well, maybe you don't have to in the future. Maybe we just make it known where we are and plan on just having to hold those guys off for 1 minute before we teleport back and kill the beholder.
But we could be waiting a while, and meanwhile the beholder may...
That's true.
Like, we could be waiting days for an attack.
By the way, I'm assuming everybody else is basically packed up the camp and you're walking now back towards which destination? The city, the smuggler's den, your ship.
Well, we gotta go pick up Thin Lizzy, so let's go get them.
All right, let's say you're walking there. It's about half an hour or so. You're walking and talking.
Talking and walking.
As long as I'm okay with going right in, but I just need to make sure that I get this coffin somewhere first. Unless you guys need to rush into this now, but
No. I'm happy to help.
And Balin, I'm gonna get you to roll something you're trained in. Arcana, probably, but it could be something else. This is for your fabricate. See how nice a coffin you made her. And you took your time. You had some pretty good materials.
Cool. I also get to add double my proficiency to that too, because I got that specialization. So that means I should have a 26 in total.
This is a beautiful... You have seamlessly merged stonework and woodwork in a way that no regular craftsperson could do. This is a work of art that you have made for Eliza's grandmother. She will be in a coffin fit for a queen.
Oh.
As you come around the corner, you see the smuggling den. You get through the entryway with a couple of quick hand flashes of thieves' cant. You make your way down towards the dock. The lizard folk Lesrin comes running down the dock. There you are. Good to see you. You see Jimmy. You see Derek waving from the ship. It looks ready, manned, ready to push off. You get the coffin stowed safely on board the ship. Jimmy asks, well, where would you like it, Elias? Where do you need it? We can get it anywhere.
I'm just gonna...
Right.
I go up and I whisper him... Oh, actually, no. He's gonna go into his bag and pull out, like, his signet ring and just kind of flash it to him. I'm like, Yeah. There.
Jimmy recognizes it, his eyes kind of going wide.
Sorry, that's really funny.
And then turns around and turns to Derek. Is like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll get paid." And Lestrin is ready, and you are standing on the dock ready. You can see at the end of the dock, just before you're all pretty much. This is all within the 20 minutes later, and you see the governor and a couple of guards come walking along. You can see them kind of silhouetted against the dock, and you're out by the ship, and you're looking at each other, trying to decide when and where you're gonna go. And with that, I think we're gonna end for the night.
Sounds good.
All right. I wasn't sure where tonight was gonna go. That was fun. All right. I do need an episode name, so if any of you have a suggestion, internet, if you have suggestions, we listen to those as well. We never did get a product, so if you got any product ideas too, we can do placement. Product placement. Yummy lurch. That's empty.
It's how we keep the lights on.
Name suggestion wise, I think the funniest thing that was said, Steve wrote in the Roll20 chat, it's the uncorking of a dwarf. Like, uncorking the dwarf is really funny.
That was one thing. The other thing was something Matt said at the beginning. Oh, I could have saved her, but I just forgot.
Look, we don't appreciate how hectic combat is.
Oh, Bella, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you're on mute.
She's been talking this whole time.
Sorry. Yeah.
Now she's laughing silently. It's a mime show. All right. Well, we'll hear more from her in a few minutes. Uncorking the Dwarf is pretty damn good. Thanks very much, Internet.
I was just gonna say that in Valen's defense to what Gord said, I don't know if it was Gord or Steve. I can't remember because then you said I couldn't hear you. But it's not that he forgot. I think it was that he was too busy, distracted by everything.
There's a lot
going on. Not what Eli heard.
Reaction, but yeah, you have flying, controlling trees, all that, you know. It's a lot going on.
I heard that. Oh, I forgot I could do that.
Yeah.
Well, I was at
I'm trying to make him feel better.
Right, so yeah, I forgot about that.
Sometimes the moment just passes you by, and you're like, "Damn it! I could have counterspelled that. Damn it!"
Oh yeah,
it's kind of hard, right? Because you do it after you've already been they cast this spell, and it's seems a little metagaming. I didn't know what spell they were gonna cast before I cast counterspell. It's just it's a weird spell, honestly.
Nah.
Counterspell? Nah, you should ban
It's like
them.
that in Shield.
Ban
You're
counterspell.
No. I like it. It's a reaction to just be like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
It's the Expelliarmus or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Equivalent. Just
Expel a ramen. No, that was.
But you know what I mean, right? If you always they're about to cast a spell, do you want to counterspell every time? That would be ridiculous. But also, you don't know what spell they're casting until it's done. Yeah. You could make an Arcana check to know. Spellcraft used to be totally a thing in D&D, and it's not in 5th edition. Anyway, this isn't important.
I think of it kind of it's like when you're doing an attack, it's never just one hit. It's you're parrying, you're jockeying for position.
Sure,
it takes 6 seconds.
I think that's an important thing to think about. Yeah,
there's going to be a back and forth. It's the hit that lands that matters,
right?
And I feel
that's not how we
spellcasting's
describe
the same.
Spellcasting usually.
Yeah. But I do feel it's kind of somebody powering something up, and they're like, "Oh no, you don't."
Sure, but what was it? Do you know what it is before they cast it? Make an Arcana check, right? Okay, now you know what it is. Would you counterspell it? Right? That's way too many, so you don't bother. But it's an interesting, weird, it's already happened. Do you want to go back 5 seconds and have it not have happened?
That's what makes portent interesting, because you have to decide. Am I gonna drop this or not? No, it's a great. If you have the dice roll for it, it's a great thing to have. It either works or doesn't work, but.
Well, I did love you alluding to the idea of like, oh, we could do this thing where we show up there and have this really well-timed thing. If I could only see the future, like it's a really good oh yeah, there's a good reason to have a divination wizard here. Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Good tie in there, Todd.
Augury or divination. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's good.
All right. We've uncorked the dwarf. Let's finish it off before it's too late. Thanks very much, everybody.
Some dwarf wine in terms of blood.
Oh, dwarf blood wine. Dwarf
That's
brain
real.
stew.
That's a real thing. Just ask Balin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody.
Iron is the reading.
We're gonna say
Thank you.
good night, everybody.
Good
Come
night.
back on Tuesday. If this is your first time, please hit the button and give us some love there. And we'll see you next week. I think next week is we'll talk about it, but I think I'm leaning towards D&D. Maybe we can kick this in the Oni.
That is also a possible.
I'm bringing it back. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Right.
A little while later, on the deck of a ship, a little tiny mushroom man crawls over, sipping, pulling on a cloak soaked in blood. Crawling up about halfway, just tasting the side of the cloak. The rough-looking dwarf with the small divot in it, or large divot in his forehead, kind of bats the mushroom off. It tumbles to the ground. The mushroom sits up, disappointed. The dwarf walks away, and the mushroom calls after it.
Hi.
Oh, you are. Come here. Let's get you back into the shade.
Nice.
Leaves, so get in the shade.